Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Mike Beer. Saturday's seventh race at Keeneland kicks off a 50-cent minimum wager, $400,000 guaranteed pick four. It is the Grade 2 Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes, 6 furlongs, fillies and mares hoping to earn their way into the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. DRF Keeneland Clocker reports available for this strong Saturday card right now. drf.com/Keeneland. Get all of the insights from Mike Welsh and his expert team of clockers as they analyze those all-important morning workouts. Let's take a look at the field for the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes. Shalone ran really well in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint last year. She is your 3-to-1 morning line favorite. Hours to Run, who just finished behind Shalone in the Honorable Miss, is at 7-2. Spice Perfection, Grade 1 winner at Keeneland earlier this year, also at 7-2. Mike, let's look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. They have the 4, Danska's My Girl, flaunting that Southern California speed up front.
Yeah, I mean, she's a pretty fast horse. She's been on the lead in all of her recent races out in Southern California. I won't be surprised if she's there again.
The 1 Hours to Run is in mid-pack on the pace projector, but I think she can get a little bit closer. I think she's somewhat adaptable. Let's go back to her most recent start. It was the Honorable Miss. She got bet that day into the teeth of Shalone. You see her in here. She is the number 6, and she runs pretty well to be third.
Yeah, she did. This is a race that just sort of got dominated on the lead by Minute to Stardom, who, somehow just got loose on the lead in here. It just felt like a lot of horses didn't really use their speed early. This long shot wired the field. I thought this horse ran fine in there, Dan. I do think Shalone ran better than her, considering where she was early and how slow the pace was, but nothing wrong with the race this horse ran.
And this horse is a veritable win machine. That race snapped a 6-race win streak. She's 12 of 21 lifetime. The 2 is Razorback Lady, stepping up in class off a runner-up effort at Gulfstream Park. We'll go back to that Added Elegance Stakes. Remember, this is a restricted race. She's down towards the inside. She had the lead. She's just not good enough on this day, and she only earned a 75 buyer, which means she could be in hot water on Saturday.
Yeah, she's facing some much better horses in this spot, so she really has something to prove against a field like this. I respect that they're taking a shot with her in this race, Dan, but she's got to take a step forward.
The 3 Spice Perfection certainly has credentials. Winner of the Grade 1 La Brea last year at 3. Winner of the Grade 1 Madison during the Keeneland Spring Meet, going 7 furlongs. She got the right trip in the Madison, and off that race, she was bet in the Grade 1 Humana Distaff on Derby weekend. She didn't really break very well. I thought she had a good trip. It was a really disappointing effort, I thought. And she's gone on the sidelines. Something tells me something went wrong there, but it looks like she's working well for Peter Miller. On her best day, she can win this.
Yeah, on her best day, she can. It's 5 months now since we've last seen her, so we'll see how she comes back from the layoff. Last time, she didn't run that well. Mia Mischief just sort of freaked that day and ran probably the best race of her life, so it wasn't really going to matter what Spice Perfection did. I don't want to knock her, Dan. She's got 2 Grade 1 wins sprinting. I didn't love either of those races that she won, but you can't take them away from her.
Danska's My Girl is the number 4. We saw her on the lead in the Timeform US pace projector. We're going to see her on the lead in the Grade 3 Rancho Bernardo. That's where she made hay at Del Mar on August the 11th. I just didn't love this field. She beat Anonymity, the big favorite. Just isn't very reliable, and Danska's My Girl shook loose over a track that seemed very speed-friendly, but I don't want to knock this girl. She's won 5 out of her last 6, and the only loss came at Los Al, a track that some horses just don't like.
Yeah, she's pretty fast. That was a little bit of an upset there that we just saw. It's interesting that she's here. It feels like she's probably here because her trainer can't run his horses in California. He's got to run them somewhere, so he's shipping them over here, so we'll see how that works out for them.
Do you get the feeling Dawn the Destroyer is slowly rounding back into her best form for trainer Kieran McLaughlin? She looked good earlier this year against weaker competition, seemed to tail off a bit. Kieran gave her a 2-month break before the Ballerina, and we're going to watch that race right now. Now listen, she's never going to beat Come Dancing, who's one of the better filly and mare sprinters in the country, if not the outright best. She's on the outside, the best part of the racetrack. Did that flatter her effort here?
It might have. I want to say yes to the question of is she rounding back into her best form. I do think that might be the case, Dan. I'm starting to wonder. I'm a big fan of this horse. I'm just starting to wonder if she's really this good. She has a lot to prove still. Maybe this pace will set up the right way for her and she'll come running at the end. I want to use her somewhere, but I had a tough time talking myself into it.
Conversely, I'm going to ask you, do you think Mia Mischief, the number 6, is going the wrong way? because we know that on her best day, she would be very tough to handle. Winner of the Humana Distaff, the race we discussed earlier. She came out of that race with a win. And then in the Honorable Miss, she kind of ended up in the pocket. She angled out. Minute to Stardom got the lead. I thought that was a very passive ride on Mia Mischief that day. And last time out in the Ballerina, again, she just didn't really fire. Maybe she was down closer to the inside than you wanted to be. If you want to make those two excuses, she's dangerous. I don't think she's going to be 9-2. I think she's going to be a lot shorter than that. But if I'm Joel Rosario, I'm putting her on a send.
Yeah, I would send her too. She's clearly good enough to win this race if she runs her best race. She's never really been that reliable. But when she shows up with her good race, she is tough. I want to give her a little bit of an excuse. She didn't run well in the Alabama, but she was towards the inside. I almost feel like the race two back. I just don't want to hold it against her because she could have had the lead, and for some reason they didn't want it. I think it wound up costing them, and they might have just been prepping for the Ballerina there anyway. She can win. I just don't love her.
The 7 Talk Veuve to me is a very likable filly. She's just a little bit slow on buyers. She hasn't gotten much faster since her 3-year-old campaign. Last time out, they tried synthetic in the Presque Isle Downs Master Stakes, and she found a synthetic freak in Hotshot Anna. I thought she ran well. She battled every step of the way. She got tired late. It was a good performance. These are tougher horses on dirt.
Yeah, I just don't think she's come back as good at 4 as she was at 3, and that's a real concern to me.
The 8 Chalone is one of the more consistent mares in the country from a buyer standpoint. You know what you're going to get. It's usually a buyer between 90 and 93, and sometimes it's good enough, and sometimes it's not. And last time it was good enough in the Roman Rachel Stakes. Now, she found a great spot, dropping in class out of the Honorable Miss. She stumbled terribly at the start. Paco Lopez had her in behind horses, and luckily for Paco, as they turn into the stretch, the rail opens up, and Chalone's class takes him the rest of the way.
Yeah, that really could have blown up on Paco Lopez there because he could have taken her outside. He didn't do it. He cut the corner, and you could see the horse that's on the lead. It's in second right now, who was on the lead. Bronx Beauty really tried to shut him off at the top of the stretch. Luckily, Paco got in there. Chalone was too good after that. Listen, she fits really well in this race. She has a great running style for this race. I think she's a huge contender.
Pretty Greeley is an honest horse, a stakes winner at Will Rogers Downs. She's banked over $280,000, nice $16,000 claim, but she is in very tough as she makes her graded stakes debut.
I really respect this trainer, Dan, but this filly, or this mare, hasn't fired out of the 70s yet.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes. You like Chalone. She's so consistent. She's drawn well towards the outside, where I think she's just going to take up a nice tracking position while in the clear. She's a horse that I want to use in this pick 4. I want to see what Spice Perfection does. I think that Churchill Downs race was an anomaly. She didn't fire that day. I think something happened to her. We know she likes Keeneland, and that could be very key. I want 3, 5, 8, and 1.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like I just trusted Chalone more than I trusted the others in the race, so I put her on top. I went 8, 1, 6, 5.
We're kicking off a $400,000 guaranteed pick 4 with a 50-cent minimum wager with race number 7, the Grade 2 Thoroughbred Club of America. It has an approximate post of 4:29 Eastern. Good luck.